The shadow, the hidden parts of you attracting toxicity. Jung believed that every person has a shadow, the unconscious part of the psyche that contains repressed desires, unresolved wounds, and traits we don't consciously acknowledge. The shadow isn't inherently bad, but it holds aspects of ourselves we've pushed away, like insecurities, fears, or unhealed trauma. Why it attracts toxic partners. When the shadow remains unintegrated, that is, you haven't explored or accepted these hidden parts, it can unconsciously influence your choices in relationships. For example, if your shadow holds feelings of unworthiness from childhood, you might gravitate toward partners who reinforce that belief through criticism or control, as it feels familiar. Toxic partners often mirror shadow traits. A manipulative partner might reflect your own unacknowledged tendencies to control or avoid vulnerability, drawing you into a dynamic where these traits play out. Engaging insight. Think of the shadow as a mischievous puppeteer in your psyche's backstage. It pulls strings you don't even see, leading you to partners who embody its unresolved energy. Jung would say the first step to breaking this pattern is to shine a light on your shadow, acknowledge your wounds, fears, and suppressed desires. This isn't about blame but about empowerment. Once you see the shadow, you can choose differently. The Anima/Animus, seeking wholeness in the wrong places. Jung introduced the concept of the Anima, the feminine archetype in men, and Animus, the masculine archetype in women, which represent the unconscious, contractual parts of the psyche. These archetypes drive us to seek wholeness by projecting them onto romantic partners. For example, a woman might project her animus, her inner strength or ambition, onto a partner, idealizing them as the embodiment of those qualities. Why it attracts toxic partners. When the animus is unconscious or undeveloped, you might project it onto someone who appears to embody these qualities but in a distorted, toxic way. For instance, a woman with an unintegrated animus might be drawn to a partner who seems confident and assertive, qualities she hasn't claimed in herself, only to discover they're domineering or narcissistic. These projections create a magnetic pull toward partners who seem to complete you but end up exploiting your vulnerabilities. Exciting angle. Jung saw the animus as a bridge to your soul's growth. Toxic partners are like a cosmic wake-up call, showing you where you've outsourced your inner power. The thrill of breaking this pattern lies in reclaiming those qualities, becoming your own hero, artist, or leader, rather than seeking them in someone else. Imagine the freedom of no longer needing a partner to fix you. Repetition compulsion and the unconscious past. Jung's work aligns with the psychoanalytic idea of repetition compulsion, where we unconsciously recreate past dynamics to resolve old wounds. If you grew up in an environment with toxic behaviors, like neglect, criticism, or unpredictability, your psyche might associate these patterns with love or safety, even if they're harmful. Why it attracts toxic partners. Your unconscious mind seeks familiarity, even if it's painful. A toxic partner might feel like home because they echo unresolved dynamics from your past, like a critical parent or an emotionally unavailable caregiver. Jung would argue that these relationships are opportunities for individuation, the process of becoming your true self by integrating these past wounds. Engaging twist. Picture your psyche as an adventurous explorer, revisiting old ruins, your past, to find hidden treasure. Healing. Each toxic partner is a clue, pointing you toward unresolved pain that needs your attention. The excitement comes from realizing you're not doomed to repeat the cycle. You can rewrite the story by facing those old wounds head-on. The archetype of the wounded healer. Jung's concept of the wounded healer suggests that our deepest wounds can become sources of strength and transformation. However, if you are unaware of your wounds, you might attract partners who exploit them. For example, someone with a savior complex, an unintegrated wounded healer archetype, might be drawn to toxic partners they believe they can fix, only to find themselves drained or manipulated. Why it attracts toxic partners. Toxic individuals often seek out empathetic, nurturing people who are eager to heal others but neglect their own boundaries. This dynamic can feel intoxicating because it taps into your desire to be needed, but it's a trap that keeps you stuck in cycles of giving without receiving. Inspiring takeaway. Jung would encourage you to become your own wounded healer. By tending to your own pain, Through therapy, journaling, or self-reflection, you build boundaries and self-love that make you less vulnerable to toxic dynamics. The adventure here is discovering your inner strength, like a phoenix rising from the ashes of past hurt. The collective unconscious and archetypal patterns. Jung's concept of the collective unconscious suggests that we're influenced by universal archetypes and patterns that shape human behavior. Toxic relationships often follow archetypal scripts, like the victim-persecutor-rescuer triangle, where partners cycle through roles of victimhood, blame, or caretaking. Why it attracts toxic partners. If you're unconsciously caught in one of these archetypal roles, you might attract partners who fit the complementary role. For example, if you play the rescuer, you might draw in a victim who turns out to be manipulative. These patterns feel fated because they tap into deep, universal energies, but Jung would argue they're not destiny, they're invitations to grow. Exciting perspective. Breaking free from these archetypal traps is like stepping out of a cosmic play. You're not just a character in someone else's drama, you're the director. By recognizing the roles you've been playing, you can rewrite the script, choosing partners who align with healthier archetypes, like the lover or creator. How to break the cycle. A Jungian approach. Jung's philosophy is all about individuation, the lifelong journey of becoming your true, whole self. To stop attracting toxic partners, try these Jungian-inspired steps. Explore your shadow. Journal about recurring patterns in your relationships. What traits in toxic partners feel familiar? What wounds or fears might they reflect? Therapy or dream analysis, a Jungian favorite, can help uncover these. Integrate your Anima, Animus. Identify qualities you admire in partners and ask, how can I cultivate these in myself? For example, if you're drawn to confident partners, work on building your own self-assurance. Heal the past. Reflect on childhood dynamics that might be shaping your partner choices. Creative practices like art or storytelling can help process these wounds. Set boundaries as you integrate your shadow and Anima, Animus. You'll naturally develop stronger boundaries, making it harder for toxic partners to enter your orbit. Engage with the collective unconscious. Explore myths, stories, or archetypes that resonate with you. For example, connecting with the archetype of the wise woman, man can guide you toward healthier relationships. Why this is exciting. Jung's ideas turn the pain of toxic relationships into a thrilling quest for self-discovery. Each unhealthy partner is a mirror, reflecting parts of your psyche that are ready to be explored and transformed. By diving into your shadow, integrating your Anima, Animus, and breaking free from old patterns, you're not just avoiding toxic partners, you're becoming a more authentic, empowered version of yourself. It's like embarking on an epic adventure where the treasure is your own soul. Final thought. Jung would remind you that the psyche is a dynamic, living system, always seeking wholeness. The toxic partners you've attracted aren't mistakes, they're signposts on your path to individuation. Embrace the journey, and you'll find yourself attracting relationships that honor your growth and radiance.